Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to Barcelona for the 7 days EuroCup 2019-2020 season draw. We had an outstanding 2018-2019 season for the premier European club competitions, the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague and the 7 days EuroCup. The 2019-2020 season will bring the chance to all fans to witness the best 42 teams of the continent, 18 for the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague and 24 for the 7 days EuroCup, starting in October. And today we are here to celebrate the tip-off of the EuroCup season and draw the destiny of its 24 clubs, which will try to emulate the reigning champion and now EuroLeague bound Valencia Basket. But first, let's watch a video of the most outstanding moments of this past 7 days EuroCup season.
He's ejected by Buckner. Dragging now for three at the other end. Behind the back of the layup for two more from Schöner.
To Jennings. Back to Jalen Reynolds for the throwdown.
Yes, they try and come the rebound and they get it as well and they score at the buzzer.
For beautiful basketball. Oh my word!
Sailing through the air, lifting everybody in Vilnius.
Welcome to Mordabar landing Sunday.
Now the alley-oop and the put away. Kenny Gabriel reignites the Ankara Arena. They love that.
Oh, Samuels with a one-handed jab. Oh, how about that? The drive, flush, and finish.
That is off to a flyer there.
Down hangs it high and there he is again. Jamal McClain taking to the heavens once more.
And Jackie Carmichael throws it down.
Reinhardt from inside his own half. He scored!
Sees the lane and it's blocked emphatically. Artem Parahovsky on the rejection.
Driving on. Oh! Jang throws him out. He rolls inside and completes the alley-oop.
Peyton Siva with the buzzer beater.
Drums are going to beat and the horns are going to blare as the Las Toronjas are going to win here. The opening game in this 2018-2019 finals. They win comfortably in the end. And we are going back to Valencia. Alba Berlin win at home. They defend their home court and win game 2.
For the fourth time in their illustrious history, Valencia Basket are the EuroCup champions, and they have done so with a dominant display.
And what an amazing season it was. Now we would like to explain how the procedure will work that will be followed during today's draw. First of all, the 24 teams will be drawn and placed into 4 groups of 6 teams each. The 6 teams in each group will play against each other in a regular season phase consisting of 10 round-robin games. After the regular season has ended, the best 4 teams from each of the regular season groups will advance to the top 16, which will consist of 4 groups of 4 teams, playing 6 round-robin games in each. From there, the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals, each consisting of a best-of-3 playoff series, will take place. The 2019-2020 season will also bring an important change. For the first time, not only the champion, but also the runner-up will qualify for the 2020-2021 Turkish Airlines EuroLeague. Thus, reaching the final of the 7 days EuroCup will not only offer the 2 finalists a shot at being the champions of the 2019-2020 season, but also a spot in the following season of the Turkish Airlines EuroLeagues. Now, getting back to our procedure, our teams have been separated into 6 seeds in accordance with the club ranking. Now, the urns that we will be using will be custom made for each individual draw. Therefore, we will place only the teams that can be drawn into that position, into that particular slot, into the urn. In some cases, only one team will be placed in the urn, as it will be the only eligible team to go into that spot. Beginning with the 1 seeds, the teams will be drawn and placed into the 4 groups before proceeding with the 2 seeds and so forth until all of the teams have been drawn. Now, as stated in the bylaws, the two teams from the same domestic league cannot be drawn into the same regular season group until it becomes physically impossible. A team may be placed directly in a slot in order to uphold the same country restriction. Please note that the teams that come from the Adriatic League are subject to the same country restriction. Now, on the screen, you can see 4 empty groups where our teams will be placed as they are drawn. To help us draw the teams, I would now like to ask and invite onto the stage Mr. Diego Guillen and Mr. Roch Bizjak, please, to help us with this part of the procedure. Thank you very much, Diego, Roch, thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, before you, we have an urn that already has the first seeded teams, the top 4 teams. Of course, there's no problem with compatibility here because it's the first team. So this is the only urn that we will not make individually. So, Diego, if you would please draw the first team that will be going to Group A at the 1 seed level. And that would be Prometheas Patras from Greece. Prometheas Patras from Greece is our first 1-seeded team that is drawn today and goes to Group A. Very well, there's no need to reload the urn. So if you could choose a second team that will go to Group B. That team is Lokomotiv Kuban Krasnodar. Lokomotiv Kuban Krasnodar going to the 1-seed spot in our Group B. 2 teams remaining, 2 spots remaining. So, Diego, if you would be so kind as to draw the team that will be going to Group C. And that would be Darüşşafaka Tekfen Istanbul. So, our third team, Darüşşafaka Tekfen Istanbul, going to the first spot in Group C. And of course, knowing what the first seeded teams are, we know that our last team going to Group D is Unicaja Malaga from Spain. Unicaja Malaga going to the first spot, the first seed spot in Group D. Okay, now from now on, we will be making each urn individually because now there are incompatibilities that can arise in any one of our groups. So we're ready to go, and all 4 of the teams are eligible to play in Group A. So let's place, Roch, please, Unix Kazan from Russia, Maccabi Rishon Lezion from Israel, Galatasaray Doga Sigorta from Istanbul, and Ritas Vilnius from Lithuania. The 4 teams placed in the urn, and let's see which one of them will go to Group A to join Prometheas Patras. Please, Diego. Beautiful day in Barcelona today, by the way. And it's Maccabi Rishon Lezion. Maccabi Rishon Lezion going to Group A as our first 2-seed team to be drawn today. Now next we have to remove the 3 and reload our urn. So let's begin with there are 2 teams eligible of the 3 that are still available. So that would be Galatasaray Doga Sigorta from Istanbul and Rytas Vilnius from Lithuania. These are the 2 teams that will not cause an incompatibility or force one to be caused later. So please, if you would, Diego, our team at the 2 seed level for Group B. There we go. And Rytas Vilnius. Rytas Vilnius, our Lithuanian representative, then taking the number 2 seed spot in Group B, joining Lokomotiv Kuban Krasnodar. Now we need to prepare our 3rd urn for Group C, and here there's only 1 team that is compatible. Remember, we mentioned that in the rules at the start. Unix Kazan from Russia is the only team that can go into this draw, sometimes because of the compatibility in that group or to avoid an incompatibility in the next group. So please, if you would, Diego. So it's Unix Kazan joining Darüşşafaka Tekfen in that Group C. Unix Kazan taking the 2 spot, the 2 seed spot in Group C. So now we move on to the last team and the last draw of this level, and that would be Galatasaray Doga Sigorta from Istanbul. Only team remaining, therefore there's not a lot of mystery this time. Please, Diego. And sure enough, it's Galatasaray Doga Sigorta Istanbul that is going to Group D to join Unicaja Malaga, and with that we complete the 2 seed level. So it's time to move on to our 3 seed level, and as Rock prepares, I will give him instructions in just a moment. Okay, now for Group A, all of the 4 teams are eligible. Therefore, Budućnost Voli Podgorica from the Adriatic League, Cedevita Olimpia Ljubljana, also from the Adriatic League, Tofaş Bursa from Turkey, and Ratiofarm Ulm from Germany. These are our 4 teams at the 3 seed level, and let's see which one of them will go to Group A. Diego? And going to Group A will be Ratiofarm Ulm from Germany. Group A, 3rd seed, or 3 seed, Ratiofarm Ulm. Very well, if we can discard those, we'll go to the next urn, which will be for Group B. And only 1 team is eligible, that would be Tofaş Bursa. So Tofaş Bursa going into the urn, and of course, into Group B. So let's take a look. Make sure we've done everything correctly. And sure enough, it's Tofaş Bursa. Tofaş Bursa going in to the 3 seed spot in Group B. Okay, time to prepare the urn for our Group C at the 3 spot. And that is, there are 2 teams that are remaining, and both teams are eligible. Budućnost Voli Podgorica and Cedevita Olimpia Ljubljana. 2 teams from the Adriatic League. And let's see which one will go to Group C, and obviously which one will go to Group D as well. And it's Cedevita Olimpia Ljubljana going to Group C. Cedevita Olimpia Ljubljana joining Darüşşafaka Tekfen and Unix Kazan. All right, and finally the last one is Budućnost Voli Podgorica from Montenegro going into our urn at the last spot in Group D. So please. And it's Budućnost Voli Podgorica. And with that, we complete the 3-seed level. We're halfway through the draw right now. So let's move on now to level 4 seed. And in Group A of the 4 teams, there are 3 that are eligible. And those teams would be Morabanc Andorra from Spain, well, from the Spanish ACB League, Juventud Badalona, also from Spain, and Limoges CSP from France. All 3 teams ready to be drawn, and let's see which one of them will go to Group A at the 4-seed level. And that would be Morabanc Andorra. Morabanc Andorra from the ACB League of Spain, our first team at the 4 level. Let's go 4-seed level for Group B. We have 3 teams remaining, and all 3 teams are eligible. So we place Juventud Badalona. Next, EVE Baskets Oldenburg and Limoges CSP. No problem. We have the 3 teams ready. Let's see, Diego, which one of these 3 will go to Group B? And it's Limoges CSP. Limoges CSP then taking the number 4 seed spot in Group B. And we have 2 teams remaining now from that level. But there's only one that is eligible, so please place Juventud Badalona into the urn. And I have a funny feeling that Juventud Badalona is going to Group C. And sure enough, Juventud Badalona going to Group C at the 4-seed level. And of course, that means only one team remains, and that team will be going into the urn, EVE Baskets Oldenburg from Germany, into the urn, and therefore into Group D. And it's EVE Baskets Oldenburg. EVE Baskets Oldenburg going into Group D. Very well, we've completed our first 4 seed levels, and now we prepare to move on to the 5th level. The first team to be drawn will be going to Group A, and of the 4 teams that are available, all 4 of them are eligible. So let's begin by placing Partizan Nice Belgrade, Dolomiti Energia Trento from Italy, AS Monaco from France, and Germani Brescia Leonessa, also from Italy. So let's see which one of these 4 teams will go to Group A. Diego? And that would be AS Monaco. AS Monaco going to Group A at the 5 seed, the first of our 5 seeds for the moment. There we go. We clear the urn, and we prepare now for the next group, Group B, at the 5 seed level. Only one team is eligible, and that is Partizan Nice Belgrade. Partizan Nice Belgrade participating in the Adriatic League. And Partizan Nice Belgrade going then to Group B at the 5 seed level. 2 teams remaining. We're going to Group C for the 5-seed level team. And the two teams available and the two teams remaining are Dolomiti Energia Trento and Germani Brescia Leonessa, both from Italy. So let's see which one of our Italian representatives will be going to Group C. And of course, we'll also know which Italian team is going to Group D. And going to Group C at the 5 spot is Germani Brescia Leonessa. Germani Brescia Leonessa taking then the 5-seed spot, Group C. And of course, there's only one team remaining, which we will place in the urn, even though we know what team it is and we know where they're going. That would be Dolomiti Energia Trento. Dolomiti Energia Trento. And Dolomiti Energia Trento taking the 5th spot, the 5-seed spot in Group D. Well, we're almost done. We have one level remaining, the 6th seed. And now, we'll wait a second as Rock prepares. We will begin with Group A, of course, following our normal procedure. And for the last spot in Group A, of the 4 teams of this level, only 2 are compatible. That would be Umana Reyer Venice from Italy and Segafredo Virtus Bologna, also from Italy. So let's see who's going to complete Group A. And it's Segafredo Virtus Bologna going to the 6th seed spot in Group A and thus completing that group. Very well. Now for Group B, of the 3 teams that are remaining, only one is eligible. That would be Umana Reyer Venice from Italy. Umana Reyer Venice from Italy. And Diego? Umana Reyer Venice then going to Group B in that 6th spot and thus completing the group. We have all 6 teams up on the screen. And now we move on to Group C. 2 teams remaining, both teams eligible. Nanterre 92 from France and Asseco Arca Gdynia from Poland. Let's see if it will be a French team or a Polish team joining Group C. And it is Nanterre 92. Nanterre 92 completing Group C. So you can see on the screen all 6 teams ready in their places. And finally, one team remaining. We know what that team is. If you would place Asseco Arca Gdynia from Poland. And this will be the last, but not the least, of our teams for this draw. And it's Asseco Arca Gdynia. Well, thank you very much, Diego, Rock. Thank you for your assistance. You may return to your seat. And ladies and gentlemen, well, there you have it. The 2019-2020 7 days EuroCup draw is complete. Our 24 teams now know who they will have to defeat if they want to advance and move forward towards that coveted EuroCup title. Now, for your information, a random computer draw will be held to define the regular season calendar. It will establish the rounds and the order of the games in each one of our groups. The final calendar will be available later today on EuroCupBasketball.com. Now, stay tuned as we will be back shortly with interviews with the representatives of the different Euro Cup teams.